The fantasy that you have in your head, man, it's not real, man. It doesn't exist. And you're trying to force this on this woman. And it actually works against you because the fear that you have in trying so hard to make this work, it actually is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're afraid to lose her, and that is exactly what you're going to get now. That is exactly what you're going to get. All right, let's get into this DM that I got. Just wanted to say that I watched the latest video, When Your Girlfriend Is Your God, and it has helped me immensely in coming to grips with my current situation. I have been with my girlfriend for 3.5 years, but in the last, say, 2 years, we have been mostly in a long distance relationship, meeting a couple of months for 1 to 2 weeks, as we are in different countries due to my studies. I would say I have gotten pretty comfortable with our relationship and being the man. I believe that I have to be the one making more compromises in order to accommodate for our future. All right. But recently I realized that she has not done a single sacrifice for our relationship. All right, that's a good realization right there. Good realization. Which became especially evident last week, where I asked her for something rather simple. And after she had promised me something, did the exact opposite 2 days later. Naturally, I told her that I do not want us to be in a relationship anymore, but there is a problem. My only dream in life is to have a large family with at least 5 children. And I planned my future with this woman for the last 3.5 years. I have made the mistake to still be in touch with her, hoping that this will provide an action in her that would show me she's ready to fight for our relationship. And I'm afraid that nothing will happen from her side. And I do not know what to do, as I do not have motivation for anything else more than to have a family. And I am seeing my dreams slip by. How can I motivate myself to do anything? I am 25 years old, 6 feet high, finishing my master's degree, starting a well-paid job soon, and yet I have no motivation for anything, as these things will amount to nothing because I am now further away from my family than I have ever been in the past 7 years. I am not ready to invest this much time again in a relationship, only to be disappointed again. Whew. All right, this is a lot right here. Let me mention the first thing that stood out to me. The part where you said that I know that I must be the man in the relationship, but yet I have been the person to make a lot of compromises and I felt it was necessary. That doesn't really sound that good to me, because when you're saying compromises, that means at first you had a mentality and now you no longer have that because of what you were confronted with in the relationship. So that speaks to me is that the woman acknowledged that. But if she acknowledged that you made a compromise, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, it can be a compromise to your boundary, your dignity, your self-worth, your value, your sense of respect, your sense of regard for yourself. And when you do that, what it will communicate to a woman is it puts you in a lower space in her mind. Now, a lot of times as men, we think this is necessary because we're trying to get to the higher goal, which is a relationship. But you got to realize, and I think it's probably going to become more apparent as I'm reading this, is that this fantasy in your head about how many children you're going to have, you have to realize that it's just in your head right now and it has not yet come to reality. But you trying to force this thing, it may seem that way to her. Maybe she doesn't want that, at least not with you. Maybe she might have wanted that at a point in time, but now she no longer sees that, and she's entitled to that. But the part where it gets worse is if you try and push the issue. Because think about it, like, women are very sensitive, in my opinion. Women don't like confrontation. Women don't like to be put on the spot, especially sexually, romantically. They don't like the pressure put on them when it comes to committing or anything like that. They like to feel comfortable and safe and who they decide to be with, and in the decisions they make a lot of times. So if you're being this person, there's a multitude of ways, and there's a big variety and a large spectrum of subjective reasons why a woman will feel pressured. But I can guarantee you this: you trying to make it seem like, hey, I just want to let you know I want to be with you still. We can still get this going, and hey, by the way, my hand is still outstretched to you. I just want to let you know that I'm here. It's pressure. That's pressure. And it becomes more intense the more of a history you guys have with each other, and the more that's at stake on her decision. It's too much pressure. Too much. I think the better alternative is, hey, look, this is what I want. If you don't want that, goodbye. We don't ever have to talk again. I'll just go find someone else. Not saying that the woman that you're with is not special, but obviously it's ultimately not special if it's not mutual. The fantasy you have in your head it's not going to come to fruition if it's forced. You didn't have this idea in your head that, dang, I want to be with this woman, and we're going to get married, but she's handcuffed to me the whole time, or she has a ball and chain around her neck, and yeah, the contract, she signed it, but there was a gun to her head. You didn't. That's not in your fantasy. So why don't you at least stay true to your fantasy? It's supposed to be mutual. It's supposed to be natural. It's supposed to be easygoing. It's not supposed to be dirty. It's not supposed to be forced. Getting back to the email. So now we're still taking a bit each day, much less than before. And she says that she loves me, but it's just not sure whether I am the one. Well, think about it. You mentioned that she did something that she told you she wouldn't do, or she told you she was going to do something. She did the exact opposite. She does not respect you. She doesn't respect you, at least in that regard. But that's pretty big. We're talking about somebody you want to die with. You're going to spend the rest of your life with. You're going to commit to for the rest of your life. And she doesn't hold you in high regard to do something so basic. It meant a lot to you and you observed it. So why don't you let it speak for your situation right now? Is it possible that as highly as you view her, she doesn't view you like that? Is it possible? Why not consider that and be open to that possibility, but also be open to what that may show you, because it might be something you don't want to see. All right, getting along. She says that she loves me, but is just not sure whether I am the one for her. Okay, look. Is this uncertainty enough? Stupid Google. Be quiet, Google.
Sometimes I make mistakes.
Yeah, I know, lady.
From them. Sorry about that, James Ray.
Leave me alone.
To report a problem, you can send feedback.
All right. And she says that she loves me, but is just not sure whether I am the one for her. Is this uncertainty enough to break every tie with her? Well, man, I think that's up to you. I mean, that's a hard situation. I can only speak outside of your situation, but I don't know your situation exactly. I can only recommend certain things. But here's what I will say. Is the turmoil and the way that your heart is twisting and it's being strung out like this, is that worth your fantasy? For example, one end you can choose to be with her, and one end you just say, you know what, I'm going to cut my losses and start over. First off, both things are uncertain. Is this uncertainty enough to break every tie with her? Well, it's not just the uncertainty. It's also the fact that she doesn't respect you. She said she was going to do something and she didn't do it. Why is that? Because she knows that you're going to be okay. She knows that you're not going to do anything. You have made compromises to such an extent that she does not hold you in high regard. So what will she do? She will act in a way as to which she takes you for granted, and you will feel that. So you feel taken for granted. You feel like you're not respected. So what's more important? Is it because at the end of the day, all relationships you get into are uncertain. In the same way as to which you go to a job interview, you go to the job and you are not guaranteed a job. It is uncertain as to whether you will get that job. But what I'm trying to explain is all endeavors in life you can't control the outcome of. You can only do your part. But right now I'm trying to communicate to you that you're not doing your part as a man, because somewhere along the line you messed up to communicate to her that she doesn't even take you seriously. And what do I mean? The gravity of being in a relationship with you, she does not respect. So of course it's going to be uncertain. This is one thing I know about women. One thing. They don't respect you. Don't expect anything else from them. Not love, not desire. You don't expect it. If they don't respect you, it's basically downhill from there. So, can you get respect back from a woman? I don't know. I've never been in that situation. I've never gotten lost respect and then got it back. I have definitely lost respect and it has been over after that. So I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if it's possible. But one thing I'll ask you, the amount of lowly lack of dignity and lack of respect that you have to be in order to continue to hope for the possibility that she will respect you in the future, is that worth it? Because it seems like it's not up from here. You trying to earn your respect is not up from here. It's more like downhill, because it's going to come with more and more tests from her. It's going to come with, it's just a low position, because what you're doing is, like I said in the last video, have you ever seen like a child hang on the leg of a father or a mother? That's what you're doing. It's a beggish way. You're hanging on her coattails for dear life, regardless of whether she drags you through the mud. Is that a position to be in high regard? It's better to have space to where it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go do my own thing over here. I don't necessarily care what you're doing. I'm gonna go do what I'm doing over here. That's a better position to be in. That's what I would argue. So, getting back to it. We've shared so much moments together, and I do really love her with all my heart. It doesn't matter. Your love does not matter. If it's not mutual, it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter how much emotion you put into it. That is not going to help your situation. It does suck. It is very unfortunate, man. You loving someone, it doesn't matter. Your love doesn't matter, because if they don't want to change, if they don't want to work on it, they don't want to work on it. What are you gonna do? What other option is there? See, when you love someone, you accept the fact that they may not love you, and you come to terms with that, and you're like, you know what, and you know what, that's all right. That's okay. Loving someone means you might need to allow them to not love you. You should give them the freedom to maybe even detest you. Because right now, it sounds like she doesn't care about you even half as much as you care about her. I love her with all my heart, but I am not sure whether there is any point to speaking with her, as I am actually the one seeing that she doesn't love me. Okay, so look, you're finding this out yourself, as I do her. See, you see it too. And at the same time, I feel that I am in a position that is trying to win her instead of the opposite. Yeah, man, you're in the, I hate to say it in this way, by the way of like, the way it looks like is, yeah, you're grasping for whatever you can out of this woman. I want to move on, but I cannot, because I have planned everything in my life with her and our shared future in mind. And no, I just have no idea what to do. Oh, and now I just have no idea what to do. Well, look what you just said. I cannot move on because I have planned everything in my life with her and our shared future in mind. Well, think about this, man. You're investing in an idea in your head. It actually never existed. It never existed, but you're acting as though it does. It does not exist. The fantasy that you have about this woman, it is literally in your head. So is it possible that you might love an idea as to what you think she can be or what she might be able to become? Is it possible that she might see that as you trying to control her, and that's what brings on the pressure in the relationship, and that's might have actually worked against you and made her a little bit repulsed by you? The fact that you have this idea in your head that you're trying to come into fruition, she might be very aware of that, and she might feel forced and pressured. But that's not love. That's not love. Love is saying, you know what? I have something that I want to share with you, but I'm not going to force what I want on you, I'm going to allow you to say yes or no. That's what real love is. So allow her to do that. And right now, it seems like she doesn't, you know. I'm just trying to explain that you're going to be fine. Like, you might feel like the world's going to end, but it's not. It's just your emotions talking. And once you let those sit in, you'll get used to how you're feeling. You get used to it. So just, I would honestly recommend you to just let it go. Completely and utterly let it go. As in, cut ties, don't talk, block her. Do what you got to do in order for you to allow yourself to space to get out of how you're feeling emotionally in this moment. That's what I would recommend. It is the hardest thing to do, and that's usually the right thing to do. Thank you for your videos and for your time. If you actually read this, greetings from Europe, and keep going. And you're helping many people. Hey man, I hope that's true, man. I'm glad. Thank you for taking the time out to write that, man, because I know that's hard, man. It is freaking hard, dude. I had the displeasure of having my heart ripped out of my chest before, but I'm not dead yet. I actually have come to terms with it in the past, and it's helped me grow. Because when things don't go your way, you come face to face with conflict and friction and transgression or tribulation, and it grows patience, it grows discipline, it grows a lot. So where you're at right now, you might not like it, you might hate it dearly, but you'll grow to appreciate it. So on a separate issue, the overarching moral of this story is more like the fantasy that you have in your head, man. It's not real, man. It doesn't exist, and you're trying to force this on this woman, and it actually works against you, because the fear that you have in trying so hard to make this work, it actually is a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're afraid to lose her, and that is exactly what you're going to get now. That is exactly what you're going to get. So just cut your loss, man. My advice for people who want to avoid this situation is, first off, if it's not mutual, just get rid of it. Second off, if you're not being respected as a man, you've lost. You lost. Just abort ship, abort mission, just done. And from then on, maybe if she wants to try and get back into your life, if she can show you that she's respectful and that, man, she's took an about face, all right. But other than that, man, if a woman doesn't respect you, man, it's just think about the way that your children are going to view you. So if your wife doesn't respect you, do you think your children will? She is going to be she's only going to, bruh. So listen to this, bro. Listen to me now. Listen to me. Please listen to me, my friend. She doesn't respect you right now. And it's likely she will never respect you. She doesn't, the way you made that one thing sound, that she did something the complete opposite of, I know that must have devastated you, or at least it must have been like, oh my goodness, this is how she actually feels about me? Accept it. But accept that reality, but now project that reality into the future. You're with your now wife, and the fantasy that you've come to fruition because it looks like you're forcing it. Let's just say you get what you want. She will never respect you. Is this how you want your own children, all these children you're talking about? Is this how you want your children to view you? With no respect, no regard? This fantasy you have, it will become a nightmare, because you are forcing things and you are not allowing things to naturally happen organically. You are trying to, your will is not, it takes two wills for a relationship. It doesn't just take one, it takes two. So respect that. Respect that. I could say a lot about this, man, but the video would just go on. But I think you get the idea, man. I think you know what you need to do. And it's not easy, but I think you know what you need to do. Because I'm telling you right now, man, you love somebody, right? But you can love somebody else, dude. It's not that hard. It just takes time. It just takes time, man. Trust me. So I'll end the video there. I hope you're able to get what you can out of this. And for everybody, I hope you guys got something out of this video. All right, take care. Hold on. I turned the camera off, but I ain't finished yet. Hold on. So, you have this fantasy in your head, and it's called your family. And you want that fantasy so bad that you're willing to accept the terms that you have currently with your girlfriend, just so you can get the fantasy in your head, which is your family, pick a fence, blah, blah, blah. So, even though she doesn't respect you right now, you want to still be in a relationship with her. So what's going to happen in the long run? Your wife doesn't respect you, so your kids are going to see that. This fantasy that you have in your head is going to become a nightmare. Now, your wife doesn't respect you, so are your children going to? But more importantly, how are they going to grow up in reference points to that? Isn't it more likely that the daughter is going to see how her mother doesn't respect her father, she's not going to respect men? Isn't it possible that your son is going to see how his mother doesn't respect his father and he's not going to respect himself? So isn't it more possible that you're going to create a son who's going to be an image of his father and a daughter who's going to be an image of her mother? Isn't it possible that you're going to create a son who's going to do the same exact thing, which is he's going to hold on for dear life to this woman that he basically worships, and his daughter is going to be just as disrespectful as her mother is to her father? Isn't that possible? Is that what you want? Is that the fantasy you had in mind? It's more like a nightmare, man. So, hey,